Our Niners were at the bottom of the division last year, finished 6-10. This season, Vegas has them at a 10.5 over-under line for wins and losses. My prediction, I have this team rebounding. I have us going 12-5. Niners are back, baby, coming off of, well, obviously last season. It's all going to come down to injuries, though. I tell you, this has been one of the biggest things that has marked this team. I don't know who snake bit us. I don't know who put this hex on us, but the Niners and injuries just go hand in hand over the last couple of years. And this even predates the Kyle Shanahan administration. Some big acquisitions. Obviously, we bring in Alex Mack. We re-sign a bunch of our own guys. Fred Warner just got paid. D Ford got a new deal. Kyle Juszczyk's back. The secondary, we got K'Wan Williams and Jason Verrett back out there. And then the draft, of course. Trey Lance comes to town. Aaron Banks, rookie guard. Unfortunately, he just went down with a shoulder injury. And then you mentioned a couple others in the secondary, Ambry Thomas, Demondor Lenore, and Hufanga. I'm struggling still with his first name, but at least I can say Hufanga. Either way, all these additions in total, I think, are very exciting for the Niners. Jay, when I say 12-5, what do you think?
You read my mind. I was saying 12-5 as well. Lynch did an excellent job in adding talent in the offseason, revamping the offensive line, as you mentioned, adding Alex Mack, re-signing the big silverback, Trent Williams. He's going to be protecting the blind side of our quarterback for years to come. And also, I was surprised going into this offseason, we had only one corner that was signed through this year, and Lynch was able to re-sign K'Wan Williams, Mosley, and Jason Verrett. So we'll at least have those three guys for the next year. And I think that'll be great. He made additions along the defensive line, adding Arden Key, Samson E. Buckham from the good old LA Rams. It was good that we picked him up. Maurice Hurst, Zach Kerr. We brought back Kevin Givens. D Ford is looking healthy. I don't want to get too excited. We'll see what happens when the games start. But yeah, I think Lynch did an excellent job revamping this team, adding weapons. I wish we would have added more weapons offensively. But hey, Trent Sherfield looks good in camp. Mohamed Sanu looks good. And of course, we added 2 running backs in the draft, and I think they will help as well. So yeah, I agree. 12-5. That sounds good to me.
I think one thing the Niners could benefit, and they did this a couple of years ago, obviously in our Super Bowl run, is look at the trade market for a veteran wide receiver, because I do kind of hate the third wide receiver. Like at this point, I know Trent Sherfield shined obviously in the first preseason game and has looked good in camp, but I think we could use a little bit more veteran presence. I know Mohamed Sanu's out there, but Mohamed Sanu was looking, I don't know, pretty lackluster the last couple of years. I'm happy to hear that he's been looking better, but I don't know if we can depend on that throughout the course of the season. I think, again, we'll see. One of the big storylines, of course, is the quarterback position when you talk to the Niners. I'm in agreement with you, man. I think Jimmy just needs to be the starter this year. And I think even the preseason game, now I know we can't make too much of the preseason game, but it showed that Trey still has some stuff to work on. And Jimmy, if he is healthy on the field, we know one thing that happens. We win games. Right. And that is his best attribute. Until that stops being his best attribute, I think he needs to continue to be out there. In fact, I think at this point, if Jimmy G can go out there and win some games, and we are seriously talking about a trade later on, it could only benefit him if he has one more season like he had in 2019.
Yeah, that's the ideal situation. Like best case scenario, Jimmy G plays all, 17 games this year. He stays healthy. He doesn't turn the ball over, and the team is winning. Then we trade him in the offseason. But going back to the wide receiver situation, we still have Juwan Jennings. He's looked good in camp. I mentioned Trent Sherfield. And of course, I agree with you. I wanted the Niners to at least draft a wide receiver, or at least get a veteran wide receiver in free agency, which they did. I think they got Allen Hurns. They got a few wide receivers, but it didn't turn out. But it seemed like the Niners wanted to continue to evaluate and cultivate the wide receivers that were currently in the wide receiver room, like Jalen Hurd. Obviously, it just doesn't seem like he can be consistently on the field, unfortunately, but he was a 3rd-round pick. A few years ago. And I think that's part of the reason why they did not want to get a wide receiver. But I agree. I think that we should have. We need someone to replace Kendrick Bourne's production. But hopefully we've got 3 guys who can at least be close to that, if not more, with Trent Sherfield, Jennings, and Sanu. I think it's their position to lose after Ayuk and Debo. Going back to the quarterback, I think Jimmy G should start the whole season. And Shanahan said he's going to sprinkle in just a skosh of Trey Lance to kind of offset the defense. And the defense will have to prepare for Trey Lance and Jimmy, and that'll present problems for the defense, which, hey, that makes good sense for our offense.
Jay, I'm going to give you the biggest question that I need to answer, though. Again,
Absolutely.
why are we always so banged up, man? Can you answer this one? Is it did we build Levi Stadium on an Indian burial ground? What is it, man?
I wish I had my crystal ball here. I could rub it and I could tell you, maybe it's a curse from the Niners leaving Candlestick in San Francisco. Maybe it's that. But honestly, I don't know what Shanahan can do. If the players get maintenance days off, Shanahan is criticized by some people. Oh, the guys aren't practicing hard enough. They need to be there consistently. And then if the guys are practicing every day and there's an injury, you got to give these guys some days off. Why are you practicing them so much? Like I hear there's noise out there. Shanahan can't really do anything right, but it's football. It's a physical game. You can't just wake up week one like we did in 2020 and just say, hey, it's time to play some football. It's a contact sport. You have to slowly ramp up. You have to hit. You have to work out. You have to be in shape. And in order to do that, you have to be physical. You have to be on the field. And whenever you're working out, whenever you're experiencing a car crash, every time a lineman hit, that's basically what it is. Guys are just going to get hurt. I mean, it just is what it is. I don't know. The Niners could look at maybe getting a different training staff. Okay, maybe, but
didn't they do that?
They did.
Wasn't that before 2019? They fired everyone, said we're clearing house, and then obviously 2020 happened.
Right. I mean, the injuries we've already had, Jeff Wilson Jr., it seems like it's just a fluke injury. Justin School, he was in his back pedal and, he suffered a season-ending injury. Various more. He was doing cornerback drills or safety drills where you're just backpedaling and then you're going forward to catch the ball. These are drills that players do all the time. These are position drills. How can you prevent that? How can you prevent an injury from someone who's doing a position drill that they've done since Pop Warner? Like, I don't know what Shanahan can do, but you just got to hope that the injury luck will be on our side this year and we won't have any major injuries to, the most important players on the team. That's what we just got to hope for.